student because they saw a ghost in one of the halls. But tonight, we're going to assure you that one or more will experience an out-of-body experience. You don't need to worry about it because your tuition is paid for the semester. If we do it too early, you get a big rebate. So tonight we're going to explore some of the ghost stories of Endicott. Now you've heard some of them, but they haven't been told the way George tells them. They probably have been good. We pick on George because he's so pickable. So tonight I'm looking first for somebody here who really is afraid of ghosts. Do we have one? We have somebody here. You're afraid of ghosts. What can we do to protect you tonight? Would you like a big strapping gentleman to sit here?
Yes.
Or do you think he's going to be more afraid than you? So I have a big strapping gentleman here who would be willing to sit right down here. I would. All right.
Yes. Big strapping gentleman.
I don't think there's space. No, you're going to come right down here. What color pants do you have on?
Tan. I actually don't
show.
have pants.
We're going to start tonight with George. Because if you don't start with George, he never finishes. So George,
thank you, sir.
would you begin?
I would. Now, where are my Reynolds girls? Ah, yes. Now, can anyone...
Oh, I'm right here.
You're right there. Okay, good.
Oh, sorry.
I'm glad. You're right there. And I'm here. We're all together. Reynolds girls, have things, unexplained things happened to you since you have moved in?
Yes.
Such as?
The shower not.
The what? The shower?
Our shower in our room turns on and we have to turn it off.
They're supposed to turn on. If it doesn't, you call physical plant.
We give you running water. All right, so your shower turns on. What else? Your lights turn on and off. Well, good, the electricity works. By themselves. Doors open and close by themselves. At least the maintenance is up on the building.
I hear humming.
You hear humming?
Yeah.
You might want to get that checked.
My alarm clock is off.
Things move around, like chairs, things like that.
They fall.
They fall? Gravity. The killer. But, for my Reynolds people, you need never to feel alone in Reynolds, because there is someone who is always with you. Now, as you may or may not know, this area used to be full of mansions. That used to be summer homes for the wealthy Boston businessmen. Reynolds was such place. And this house was known to have a family that was the most perfect on the North Shore of Boston. The family was well known. They threw lavish parties. And the husband was so proud of his family, he had 2 daughters that he was so proud of that he would show them off to anyone who would come by. That's why he had all these parties. And as the years went on, the girls grew up. And then around the eldest daughter, when she was 13, was playing upstairs on the 2nd floor. with her younger sister. One morning, their mother calls them downstairs, and the eldest is the front runner. She tripped and fell down the main staircase. How many of you are taking the back staircase up tonight? She fell head over heels, crashed through the banister, landed on her back, but she did not die there. She became quadriplegic. Now, back at the turn of the century, last century, medicine wasn't exactly what it was today. So while she didn't die, she was kept in a wheelchair, and she was only allowed to be in the attic and the basement. If you have ever been into Reynolds, have you ever seen the floating door? Wonder why it's there? Because it keeps her in there.
What?
It keeps her in there. Estoy en there. I need to brush up on Spanish. Now, eventually she passed away. But if any of you who follow ghosts know that spirits with an unfinished business will stay in the house. And this young lady does just that. She stays in the house and she will play games forever. Will be there. She will turn the lights on and off. She will open and close the door. She'll move the furniture. She likes feng shui. If you are ever alone in the bathroom late at night, don't look in the mirror too quickly. You may see her. I was the RD of that building many years ago, and I can tell you firsthand that I experienced some freaky things.
We didn't have co-ed bathrooms, though.
We did not.
What was she doing in there?
I don't know. Scared the bejesus out of me, though. And a grown man slept with the lights on that night, and the doors padlocked. Because, as we all know, ghosts do not go through locked doors. We accidentally blew a fuse where all the fire doors shut at once. I've never heard blood-curdling screams so loud in my entire life. So if you are ever around late at night and you feel a presence, make sure you say, "Hello, Emily." Because Emily is only here to play. And she only goes really towards those she really likes. So with your shower turning on and off, good thing. But also, she really likes you. It's a good thing.
But George?
Yes, sir.
What about the bathtub? That is not hooked up to water. Once a year it fills with water.
I was going to leave that out, but we'll say it. In the floating door room, there is a bathtub that was once hooked up and it was moved. And every year we get phone calls to go up to this room with the sound of running water. And by the time we open the door and get in there, the water shuts off, but the bathtub is filled. We thought it was leaks. Oh no. It was not leaks. The superstition is if you touch it, bad things will happen. Season-ending injuries for some people. The football team did not touch it this year. But we always say, you misbehave, we'll make you touch it.
Where are the Brindle Hall ladies? I can't see your hands. Well, you know the story of Brindle Hall. Julie. There's no Julie in Brindle Hall. But there is somebody that's very close with the name Laura Lee, who's in room 105, who probably is the target of Halloween night. Julie took Professor Manson's class, failed the exam, depressed, torn apart, demoralized, she went into the north stairwell, holding marbles in her hand. She tied the noose around her neck and hung herself. She dangled above the stairwell until all of a sudden, the last breath, gasp. Her hand opened and the marbles went down the stairs, one at a time. Ding, ding, ding. Julie was never seen as a ghost. But when the college built Endicott Hall, it cut some trees down. In front of Brindle, the trees and the branches shaped the word Julie. But when the trees were cut down, one letter was missing, and that was the J. And every year on Halloween night, the night that she took her life, she walks Brindle Hall hallways looking for the J, looking for Jane, or Janice, or Judy. Every year. What are you doing? I'll get even with you. Every year, anybody with a name beginning with J leaves Brindle on Halloween. So we urge you, if you're concerned, you can move into some other residence hall in hopes that there's no ghost waiting for you there.
I wouldn't be too sure, though.
Where else have you seen a ghost, my friend?
Does anyone live in Winthrop?
Yeah!
Winthrop is chock full of them. Actually, just one. She's pretty big. Winthrop was another one of these homes, and Winthrop was owned by a famous sea cat. And his wife lived there, like wives do. And we learned that this couple was very much in love. And every time he went to sea, he would say, "My darling, I love you. I will come back to you." And she would always watch his ship leave the harbor and go out to sea. Now, before he left, he would always raise a red sail, which was the symbol of his undying love and affection. Well, this one particular voyage, his wife had such a bad premonition that something was going to happen, and she'd begged him, please don't go, please don't go. And he goes, "My darling, I love you, I will return to you." They set out to sea, sail went up. She kept an eye on the horizon until his ship was no longer seen. Days went by, weeks went by, months went by, and years went by. But every day she would stand on the beach looking for his ship. Finally, a few years went by, and she gave up hope. And if you ever look at Winthrop, you will see up at the top in the roof what they call a widow's block, which is a glass encased room. Well, she took her life there. And she left a note saying, "I will always love you. I will always be with you." She never left the building either. She's waiting for his return still. She's known as the Blue Lady. And they say, late at night, if you walk the hallways of Winthrop, you may see a lady dressed in a nightgown. She's resonating blue light. She's just looking and waiting for her husband to return. Sometimes if you go down along the beach, you may see a blue glow late at night. She's walking the beaches. And whenever she wants to tell you that she's around, there's a picture frame in the lobby. You know the picture I'm talking about?
Yep.
No. You do now. And the picture will turn upside down. And she's just letting you know she's there. So make sure that if you have to brush your teeth. Do it early, children. Because you may have a visitor standing behind you and waving.
Is there anybody here from Hamilton Hall?
Yeah, buddy.
Anybody from Hamilton?
Yeah.
Have you noticed at night sometimes there's a horrid smell that comes from the basement? There was a man down there 100 years or more ago who stoked the fire at night to keep it warm. He would sit there and he would put wood or coal into that fireplace. He'd lean back in his chair, put his feet up against the fire, making sure it never went out. But you can imagine what happened one night. The fire burst a little bit, his shoes caught on fire, and he was burned in front of the fire, of the furnace. So when he's walking as a ghost, as a spirit, as an angry man, you smell burned flesh. So when you smell it, I suggest you do two things. Get a deodorant and get the hell out of it.
How many of you like going to the beaches here? Picked a New England college where primarily you're here in the wintertime. Go beach! It's a balmy 32 degrees. We're getting tan. But we are actually glad that the snow comes. We actually asked for it to come on Saturday, because this is the time of year when the ghosts really are around. Our beaches are haunted just as much as our buildings. Now you know one of the beaches is named Mingo Beach, right? Our yearbook is named Mingo Tide. Has anyone ever heard of a Mingo Tide?
That was like extremely low.
Speak up and get this out of your mouth.
When it is extremely low.
When it is extremely low, you are correct. Now, this is the truth of the matter. Endicott's land used to be farmland, believe it or not. We, way back in the day, had a nice, plentiful farm that was here. Unfortunately, the farm had a lot of slaves. It was during the time of slavery. And while, yes, the North did eventually break away from slavery, this was the time during with slaves. Mingo was one of the slaves of the landowner. He was very dutiful. He would always be very attentive to his lord and master. And he only wanted one thing later on in life, and that was what?
Freedom.
Freedom. And his master would say, all right, well, Mingo, I'll make you a deal. If you can swim out to those rocks, now these are the rocks just off of where Mistlewood is. You'll see them when the tide goes out. If you can swim to those rocks, I will grant you your freedom. There's only one catch. Mingo couldn't swim. But he would try. And he would go back and forth, and he'd jump in the water, flail around a little bit, the waves would bring him back in, but he never gave up. Finally, one day, he said, I gotta do it. And he jumped.
Somebody's got a phone call.
Mingo. And Mingo jumped in the water and flailed and flailed and flailed, but the tide caught him and brought him out to sea. Mingo was never seen again. However, the next day, the tide was out so far, Mingo could have walked to the rocks. Damn. So, we now call... That's freaky. So now, if you are on the beaches late at night, you may see a gentleman in period clothing trying to run to the water. Do not try and stop him, because all he wants to do is be free. But if you do see him, just wave and say, "Hi, Mingo." And he'll wave back. She okay?
She's fine. I don't know about him. Do we have hotel restaurant majors here? Anybody in Mistlewood? Do we have somebody? Stand behind Mistlewood, looking out at the ocean. There's a mound on the left. The mound is around 20 feet long, wide, 50 feet long, and about 18 to 20 feet high. If you look at it, it's strange. It's a strange hill. It shouldn't be there. But when Salem was burning the witches at the stake, they escaped to Mingo Beach. And they carved this tunnel from the ocean into the basement of Mistlewood, so they could escape and then hide there. And then behind Callahan Center is Witches Lane, the escape route to Nova Scotia. You go up about a quarter of a mile, and there, in the middle of a cluster of trees, is a giant rock, just like a table. They say that was the sacrificial place where they killed some of the witches. And if you look carefully at the rocks on Witches Lane, you see the residue of red, bloodish color that's been grained into the rocks. And right below it, there's bones. Strange bones that keep appearing. So be careful on Witches Lane and during Halloween that you just don't go too close to the table of death.
Damn, smoke. It's okay, I say nothing. No smoking. Otherwise, you may turn into a ghost story. Have any of you ever been down to Tupper?
Oh, I have.
Well, you have. Never mind. Anyone in Hamilton Wenham? Yeah?
Anyone in the rain?
We got a story for Hamilton Wenham. Back in the 20s, it was the time of what? Great Depression and what? Prohibition. Bootlegging. Bathtub gin. Orange wine. The Hamilton Wenham property was a place where all the illegal booze started coming into the North Shore of Boston.
I thought it was the front gate of Endicott College.
That too. That was later. That was definitely later. He said it, not me. And unfortunately, the need for alcohol was so great that men would go and die for it. Sound familiar?
Sounds like Thirsty Thursday.
Also known as Bayview. All right. But we had rum runners come ashore on the Hamilton Wenham property, and they would hide in the basement of the Hamilton Wenham property and hide from all the police that would come through. Well, one night there was a great battle for this. The U.S. Coast Guard got wind that a big shipment was coming in. They were going to ambush them. So So the rum runners were bringing their bounty in to the Hamilton Wyndham property, and then they got ambushed. A rain of bullets and everything started going, and the head rum runner got shot. He was wounded. They brought him inside, and he said, I can do it. I can do it. He didn't do it. And every now and then, if you are in the Hamilton Wyndham property, you will smell a faint odor of gin. Which is ironic because it's substance free. That's why it's a substance free dorm. We want to know when they're there. And every now and then you may hear the faint sound of a boat engine and then see the Coast Guard following suit. You never know when it's going to happen. You wouldn't know. But if you're ever over there late at night, take a deep breath. Don't get drunk. Because we'll write you up for it.
George, I don't know whether we should talk about this, but I guess we have to. For 17 years, a faculty member or a student was disappeared on campus. It wasn't the food. It wasn't that they ran away. There were all kinds of rumors on why. Where did these people disappear? Where did they go? Why did they go? It was always the faculty first. It was the more difficult faculty. The faculty that gave the hardest grades. They would disappear. And then around campus, every year, they would find some bones. There was a rumor that there was a professor who was fired and was forced to leave the college. And what he wanted to do was destroy people. And he's been seen once in a while on campus. Security looks for him. They try to find him at all costs, and they're not able to. But once in a while, you'll hear a gunshot. And that means Hannibal Lecter is here. And we do everything we can to prevent it from happening. All of a sudden, it is... My God.
Good evening, Richard. I hate to tell you this, but I'm back again. And you picked the perfect evening for this. I did want to tell you, Richard, that it's 20 of 9 at night. You need to take the sunglasses off. And I also wanted to mention to George, I thought it was past his bedtime. I'll come down and join you in a minute, Richard, because I know you've hidden away Special Agent Clarice Starling.
I do believe she is someplace here.
Yes, she is. Where she might be. No Clarice. Oh, that's not Clarice. It's getting warmer, Richard.
I'm here to protect the students. So my sunglasses.
Somewhere Clarice is, and I will find all the moon. Oh, and how are you? How are things in Bethesda, Clarice? Are the lambs still silent? Oh, isn't this cozy? Oh, my favorite color, orange. That's lovely. Ooh, toad. Yummy, delicious toad. They're in little pink slippers, Richard. Yummy.
I'm sure it entices you for a delicious dinner.
Don't be nervous because the light's on you. How are you, Clarice? Excellent. And how are things in Bethesda? Excellent. But I did want to tell you, Richard, that I want my room back.
Professor, there's a young man sitting right over here protecting a young lady.
Oh, really?
He has your room. And he is wearing brown shorts.
Excuse me, girl. I hate to tell you, but they're all starting to look like Clarice. How are you? And how are things on the north face? Did you go skiing there last winter? Oh, excellent. Oh, a little flight. Ooh, big gloves. Nice. Where is that gentleman?
I don't want to point him out, sir. Hey, he's right over here. He's here to protect the young lady.
No, Richard. That's Special Agent Will Grant. He's put me away. Don't you recognize him? You need to tell him I'm out now.
You may need this.
I tried to throw him in the pond.
I thought this was an alcohol-free. Now we have. Oh yes. Thank you, George, for pointing her out.
I hate you.
George is a wonderful friend. I do have a surprise for you, though, Richard.
No,
Oh yes.
not again.
Oh yes.
That
Years
caused
ag-
more nightmares on this campus.
No. Don't worry about it. We actually cleaned out a whole floor of the dorm last year. Everybody ran and locked the doors to their rooms, and then 5 people hid in the bathroom screaming. Our friend, the ex-football star here at Endicott College, he's back with me, and his name is Michael Meyer. And I know you want to meet Michael. Oh, you hate Michael? Well, don't get too close, because he's extremely dangerous. I wonder Oh, there he is. Here he comes. Don't worry about it. Remain calm. What am I Don't worry. It's my old friend Mike. Ladies, quiet. Oh, there he is now. There he is. It's the ex-star. He hates the color blue.
Connor, you're doing well.
I can't find Clarice, Michael. I think she's over here. It's not you. Michael, I
Still calling him.
Now, Richard, we have a surprise for him.
I think we do.
I'll put George announce it.
Can we turn the music down? Softer, gentler, something that's hungry looking.
Who's freaked out right now? Who wants to make the friends who didn't come tonight even more freaked out? Alright. So we can do this in a systematic sort of way. Let's see where everyone lives. By a show of hands. Let's start with Bayview.
Yeah, baby.
Have we met before? Where? Brindle? Reynolds? Stoneridge? Endicott? All right, here's what we'll do. Start in Brindle. Go to Endicott. Make our way to Reynolds. And then maybe, just maybe, we'll show up at Stoneridge. All right, maybe baby. All right. So now, if I need to introduce Dr. Lecter as John Pettibone. He is the curator. He is the curator of Hammond Castle up in Gloucester. Has anyone ever been to Hammond Castle? Yeah.
Listen for a minute.
Every year, they do a haunted castle, and we have been privileged enough to obtain 50 tickets to Hammond Castle. And so, starting tomorrow, if you wish to sign up for the trip, go down to Student Activities and sign up. If we find that we need another bus, we may be able to do it. But I would like to at least extend the opportunity to 50 of you first and see where we go. It's Friday night. The bus leaves here at 7 o'clock. We'll go up to the castle, go around and prepare to be spookied.
And it may not return.
But it may not return. You never know.
There is no cost.
There is no cost.
You're going to have a lot of fun.
Again,
I want to
the
thank
bus-
George. I want to thank Dr. Wylie for having us here. I think this is my 10th year doing this. This is a great group of people. I remember one night it was pouring rain and we were in Reynolds Hall. And I came out of a closet and the entire room of 70 people screamed in unison. And 3 young ladies sitting on a sofa in Reynolds Hall got up and went behind the sofa and ducked down as if Hannibal Lecter didn't see them. Of course, Hannibal Lecter went right after. And then we have yet last year over in the dorm, the entire floor clear. Everybody's in locking doors. 5 people in the bathroom locking the door and screaming. So I'm going to invite those of you that quietly haven't had enough of us tonight. Join us in a few minutes as we make our pilgrimage around campus, but you have to be quiet. We don't want to give away the fact that we're going to scare people.